Welcome back, everybody, to your El Paso Running Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maria Fuentes, and whether you're listening up for your first mile or chasing that new PR, this podcast was created for all runners of all levels and to support the wonderful running community that we have. In each episode, we dive into expert advice, inspiring stories, and the latest running trends and local events that help you stay informed, motivated, and of course, connected. So let's hit the ground running and growing together. Before we start, let me go ahead and give some shout outs and upcoming races. First of all, let me give a big shout out to Mike Coulter, Brian Guzman, and Jim Waddell, and Mario Alcázar, Salvador Almeida, and all of these amazing members of the board of Runners El Paso Foundation. You know, this past week we had an event where we were able to provide like the winners and some prizes and kind of like a closure of the El Paso Marathon that we just had in February. And just let me tell you that just to hear every single detail that goes into creating an event like this is just amazing. There's some things that we don't even consider. We're so focused on ourselves that we don't even consider that all the work that takes place and all the people behind it. I'm just like so grateful, and it just put me in the right mood for 2026. I'm like, let's go for it. I'm ready for 2026, right? So shout out to you guys. Thank you for everything that you do, and hopefully we'll make even bigger race for next year here in El Paso. All right, for the upcoming races, we have Corazón de Niño. Make sure to sign up for this 7th event taking place in downtown Sunday, May the 4th. I had them in the last episode. I haven't released it, by the way. I'm so sorry. There were like some technical issues with it, but I was able to have the one of the cardiovascular surgeons that is involved in this event, and I was just also like amazed of all the work that they do together as a team to provide all these funds to carry out open heart surgeries for kids. We have like genital malformations. Make sure to join. Like $35, trust me, is nothing, but it's going to contribute to save a life. Trust me when I mean that. And we have another one. We have the 4th annual Dave Frazier Memorial 5K run coming up. You can also do a 1-mile walk, and that is taking place at Emmanuel Christian School. We have one of them that is going to talk a little bit more about it in a bit to give us more information, but make sure to have that under your reader. All right, so if you want me to share any events that is coming up in the community that you think we should go ahead and bring it up, so we just invite the community, please go ahead and DM me, send me, contact me. Usually my Instagram is where people message me and share with me so I can share that info for the community. This podcast is for all of you, so I'm more than happy to open this space for everyone. All right, so let's get into today's topic, right? In today's topic, I called it Badass Mom Runners, okay? So that should give you a hint what we're going to be talking about. I don't know, but have you guys ever wondered what it takes for a runner who's a mom who works, to have that balance in her life and be able to carry out all of these amazing tasks and be able to train for a marathon? Because training for a marathon is actually like a full-time job. Let me just tell you about it, right? So how does a woman, right, that's a mom, not only one kid, maybe has more than one kid, and then the husband, sometimes he's like a little kid, right? Yeah. It's like another child in the family, right? Plus having to have like professional life, carry out everything is just, for me, I'm calling them superheroes, right? So this is going to be today's topic. I invited some guests, but I was taking a look at some of these full-time pro athletes and others that pursue careers, outside of the sport. I was just able to look for and find a couple of them. I look for the ones that I know them. I follow their journey, the running journey, and I'm such a big fan. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Sarah Hall. I don't know if you follow that woman, but oh damn, like Sarah Hall, this woman, she has 4 girls. Like she's the 2017 U.S. Marathon champion. She had a record of 2:22:16 with a personal best. Later on was taken by somebody else. I love to follow them to get get that inspiration and that motivation that I need. I know I'm not going to go to the Olympics, but hey, I promise to you, I do train like one. Okay, I put all my heart into it. All right. She has the American on 2024. I know she had the American Masters record, and then Des Linden came and took that Masters record last year, right? And later on, like within a month, Hall came back and she took back that PR. She's like, it's mine. She took it back, right? So she has now the U.S. Masters record with 2:23, right? The Valencia Marathon for last year. Another athlete is on Felix, right? She's a sprinter. If you want to go ahead and follow that sprint show, and Netflix is pretty cool. Very exciting to see how they train and everything. But Alison Felix, she's a U.S. track and field star. 32 weeks into her pregnancy, Felix underwent an emergency C-section, and her baby was born premature. However, after 10 months, she was healthy and good to go, and she got the 12th gold medal at the World Championships in 2019. So if you need some inspiration, girls, we have it right here for you. And of course, we have Shalane. Like, she's a queen, Shalane Flanagan. She's a marathoner. She has broken so many records. She was a New York City Marathon champion in 2017. I love watching that race and seeing her just walk into that final stage in the Central Park, right? So she has that record. And of course, Kara Goucher, she's American long distance. She was a silver medalist for the 10,000 meters in 2007. And she has like many records as well, right? She has a book. I don't know if you have read it. If you're in the running community, this is one of the main books that we're very familiar with, and sharing her story of some things that she had to go through in her personal life. I won't get into that, but you can go ahead and read it, The Longest Race. So that's a good book to go ahead and read. So that's Kara Goucher. She also has a podcast with my favorite, I'm so sorry, that's my heart, with my favorite marathoner, Des Linden, right? They have a podcast, so listen to it after this one, but don't forget about mine. Because they have like such a fun conversation about all of these races. So it's a podcast you need to follow as part of it. All right, so let me go ahead and introduce you to my superhero local stars, right? On my right, I have Paulina. And Paulina, she's a law enforcement wife, and she's a mom of 2 kids. They're so cute and so beautiful. And she has a like very cute dog as well that I love to see on her Instagram. One is a 5-year-old kid, and the other one is a 6-year-old. She's also a realtor and a runner. She completed the New York City Marathon 2 years ago, yes. And then the Chicago Marathon last year. I love it because she was going through every mile in the Chicago Marathon in her Instagram, so it was very exciting to see her running and complete that race. She has run 5 half marathons, and I know she's training, and I'm going to see her in San Diego half in June, so I'm excited for her. I know we have her eyes set on the Marine Corps Marathon this fall, so we're looking forward for that. Let me just tell you about her. Paulina. I just have to put into this is too short, Paulina. She's an amazing human being. I mean, this is a girl that she's not going to sugarcoat things for you, but she's going to be honest. She's going to speak directly from her heart. I know that she's somebody you can count with, you know. If I have a race, if I'm not like in the mood, if I'm like, she knows how to pump it, you know, and put me into that right state of mind. I know she's somebody that is not gonna leave you behind, and you can definitely count with her. I love this girl so much. So, hi, Paulina. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, Paulina. So, tell me about your running journey. How did you start running?
So I ran terribly, but I'm not an athlete. I don't have hand-eye coordination, so running was my only option, really. In childhood, my dad was a big runner. He liked to run. And I ran through college just for my mental health, and then took like a 6-7 year break, and I was a CrossFitter. I like, as you can tell, hardcore exercising.
Okay.
And then I had my first child, and after my first child, I remember I started getting postpartum depression.
Okay.
And so I needed something to get me back in like out of my mental funk. So I dabbled in running a little bit. Well, then fast forward, I had my second child. Did I say this already? My first child. I had my second child. And I remember I was nursing Stella, my daughter, and I was listening to an episode of, or not an episode, I was listening to a chapter of the David Goggins book.
Okay.
And like you said, I don't sugarcoat things, and I tend to follow people who don't sugarcoat things either, because that's what speaks to me. And his like harsh language, right? Which I don't know if we're allowed to cuss here, but
Of course, go for it. And I remember it because you told me one of the runs, so I keep keeping it on my mind.
So I remember I was nursing her, and I was like in a funk. I tend to suffer from depression and anxiety. I suffered from depression as a child when my parents were getting divorced. And anyway, fast forward to postpartum, the second time around, it was creeping up again, and I could feel it. And, you're exhausted. It was like 2 a.m. I was on my probably 4th feeding of the night because I was feeding her on demand. And I was listening to David Goggins, and he said, don't be a bitch. And that resonated with me.
And she tells me that, don't be a bitch. She says, I'm complaining. She tells me that.
That's the big joke. So it sounds so ridiculous, but it just clicked to me. And Stella was pretty newborn at this time. I mean, she was like a week or 2 old, and that clicked. And I said, I'm going to sign up for a half marathon. So I signed up for a half marathon, which would have been when Stella was 6 months old. So I had 6 months to train. As soon as I got my clearance from my doctor to start working out, like it was, I think that week I signed up. And I have to give credit to my friend Sam, another badass mom. She's a PT. She has 2 young kids. I met her at soccer practice, and like we clicked. And I asked her, I don't even know how this came about. I asked her, we didn't even know each other that well. Would you run this with me? Like travel to a run. Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Travel to a run and run with me and train with me. And she said, okay. And the rest is history. She became one of my best friends. And because of her, it like pushed me through. So Sam and I ran San Diego when I was 6 months postpartum with Stella, and everything hurt so bad. My hips hurt. Like Stella did a number on my hips when she came out. And I was in the most pain. I could barely walk after that run, like as soon as we finished. And I got home, and I remember, I was still listening to freaking David Goggins. And I remember the same thing came into my, into my head from him. Don't be a bitch. And so in my mind, I thought half a marathon was where I'm at. That's what I could do physically, mentally. I will never be able to run a full marathon. And listening to him again, I thought, why not do a full marathon? Like, why not? I remember he was talking to somebody and they were saying like, I can't do it. He goes, why? You're already training for a half. Why are you not doing a full? And I was like, he was talking to me. I was like, yeah, why am I not doing a full? So I remember New York City signups were coming up, or the enrollment was coming up. I think it had already passed. Like to be able to get into the lottery system had passed. And I found a charity called Every Mother Counts, and I decided to sign up for the New York City Marathon. So I'll keep this short, but I remember telling my best friend, who's also crazy. And
all of the runners were kind of crazy.
She's not a runner now, but she even told me, how are you going to do that? And when somebody tells me that, even the person who believes in me the most, she knows those were fighting words. I was like, game on.
Okay.
I literally have chills right now.
Yeah,
because
me too.
Yes.
So that's how it started. And then I hooked up doing the New York City Marathon training. Once I started pushing my mileage, I realized I can't do this alone. I mean, I could, because I will, because I'm stubborn. But I needed guidance. I was training blind. And I went to the local running store, Up and Running. I love shopping there. They're awesome law enforcement supporters, by the way.
Shout out, guys, to the Up and Running.
They are awesome supporters of our local law enforcement. But I remember asking Chris, like, hey, I'm training for this full. Who do you recommend? And it so happened that Run El Paso happened to be there. doing a race, like packet entry pickup or something. And I hooked up with them, and the rest is history.
Who did you meet there? Who was it?
I don't remember, but it's not really the people that I've run with as much now. But they were so welcoming and said, show up on Saturday morning at 5 a.m.
And you were there.
And I was there.
So is that how you connected with all the other girls? And shout out Pamela, Erica, Gabby, and all these
I'll never
amazing
forget
runners.
Pam, Gabby, and Patti.
Okay, Patty as well.
I showed up for my first run, and man, I was slow. And if it was a 10-mile Saturday run, and they stayed with me. And then they would run a little bit ahead, but I thought as long as I could keep up with them, they could have smoked me that day, and they kept me.
They are, yeah.
But yeah, because of them, I started running, and then because of the whole group, they've changed my life.
Yeah, they have an amazing, vibe. They push you for sure, but they don't leave you behind. So they will be on the lookout for you. So if you guys want to join us, you can come.
They're awesome.
But no, they will push you. Sometimes like, oh, do I really feel like, do I have energy for today's push? But no. I love that these girls push us. So shout out to you girls. Yes, we're talking about you. All right. So San Diego half was your first half.
Second half.
Second half.
I did
Which one
my
was the
first just before I got pregnant with Sterling.
Oh, okay.
It was the Sonoma to Napa Valley
okay.
half. Yeah, poor me.
Right.
I know.
Suffering during the race.
That's the trick. You got to pick somewhere you're going to be excited to go.
Exactly. No. All right. Well, thank you, Paulina, for sharing that, and welcome to the show. And here on my left, I have another superhero. So Crystal grew up in Mississippi, and then she came with us to El Paso. She's gonna be talking more about that. So I know she's passionate about media for as long as she can remember, and now she gets to combine her love for media and mentorship in her role as assistant director of student media and publications at UTEP. She's a media girl. So when she's not helping students tell her stories, she's out there running them, literally, of course, right? Her last big race was here, the El Paso Full Marathon, and this year she focused on staying consistent with her 20 miles on average a week as she was getting more plugged into the local running scene through challenges and group runs and inspiring others to lace up their shoes and chase their goals. I know she was ambassador for the 2025 El Paso Marathon. That's how I got to know her. I think I got to know her on the end, kind of like it was a shakeout run where I got to see her. I love immediately her vibe. I'm like, this girl has energy. She has the right state of mind. I love that energy that I saw in her. And I know she has now her goal on getting faster, working on those long distances as well. I know she's like me. Her heart is in running. Don't give us a bike. Don't give us anything else. We just want running. That's our heart. We're in there, right? So she focused on getting faster. But I know Crystal brings the energy, heart, and a whole lot of hustle. Hi, girl. How are you?
Hi.
So welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you're here. So, Crystal, tell us how you got into running.
So I have like a little story, I guess. It happened so randomly. For me, though, I always wanted to run. I always thought runners were cool. Love Eliud Kipchoge, Alison Felix. I love them all, right? Yeah. And I just couldn't run. Or I thought I couldn't run.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've always been a CrossFit girly, so I would always lift, do CrossFit all the time. And I couldn't run like half a mile, a quarter of a mile without quitting or sitting down. I had that mental state for a while that I just couldn't do it. I was also kind of like, I guess like going through a lot of things too. I dealt with like postpartum depression as well. So thanks for being so real about that, because same. I'm a mom of two. I have a 15-year-old and I have a 4-year-old. We all have holiday birthdays too. We're all kind of cool. But
you get double gifts or? No.
Yeah,
of course.
Sort of. Well, my son's birthday is on Halloween,
okay.
And then my daughter and my birthday is on Thanksgiving, like every 5 years.
So you get to have like theme parties.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we love to party with party animals. But yeah, so I've kind of lived in a couple of different places, and my last place I lived was in Enterprise, Alabama, because my ex-husband was military. He's a pilot. And he's a badass runner too, right? And I'm like, dang, like I want to do that. Like I just want to do it. I got me some old Asics shoes and I tried to do it, but I just couldn't. And we moved to El Paso because we got stationed here. And he was training for the El Paso Full, like the first year that we moved here. I've been here about 3 years already now. And he was training. He was on a run on Zaragoza, and he needed water. So I was like, okay, like I'll bring you water. So I got in my car. I was like the water girl for him, right? And I got in my car and I took him water, some electrolytes, and there was a lady running with him. He told me that she was tired. She was training for El Paso as well. And he noticed her like walking, like just kind of like defeated. So I gave her water too. And, so I got out of my car, I met her, and then she was like, are you a runner too? And I was like, girl, no. I was like, I don't do that. I'm gonna leave that to y'all. I was like, but I've always wanted to. Like, I think y'all are so cool. Like, I've always wanted to run. And she was like, oh, well, you should join us on our Saturday run or whatnot. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I'll join, I'll come. So that Saturday, or maybe it was like the next Saturday, like the week after. This was about 3 years ago. I got up on a Saturday morning and I went to a coffee posse run. Okay. And this was Vicky. I don't know if you guys know Vicky, who invited me to the run. And I was so nervous, y'all. I had never run over a mile in my life. And I got there. Everybody was so welcoming. Coffee Posse, they're like the OGs to me. They're my heart. And it was raining that day. I was super slow. And I started the run with them and I felt good. Like I just felt so good. I had the support. I had Miss Vicky there who invited me to the run. And that's where I met Elena, Jocelyn, and all of them. And I was just running. And I was running. Got to 2 miles. I was running. You were like
surprised of being able to do that without
5 miles that day without stopping. Right? And I was like, and I cried that day. When we got back to that coffee shop, I don't even remember where it was. Got back to the coffee shop, I was like sobbing. And I was like, y'all, I've never run over a mile in my life. I've always wanted to do it, but I couldn't do it. Like they stayed with me. They came back to get me. We were running up a hill and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. But they came back to get me. And it was that day when I was like, I can run, like I can do it. And honestly, after that, the rest is history. And I was like, I can run 5 miles. And then after that, I got addicted to it. Started training, started meeting people. And that was my story for like how I got into it. And then I started meeting more people. And I was like, I think I should take this running thing seriously because I'm kind of good at it. And once I like learned my body, I learned what my body could do. I was also, my daughter, when we moved here, she was about 1. So I went through like an emergency C-section as well. So it took about 2 years for my body to heal from her. So I knew to like take it easy or whatnot. I knew like what my body could handle. But after that 5 mile run, I was like, y'all can't tell me nothing. I was like, I'm a badass. And
move, excuse me, get out of the way.
So then I just started running and like getting involved and kind of putting myself out there because my husband like left for deployment and I was like, okay, I'm here in El Paso. I don't know anybody. I'm working from home. Like, what am I gonna do? So that was really an experience for me, like having to like build my own life here, build my own community, and Coffee Posse was my community first here in El Paso.
Like your home.
I dedicate like running to Coffee Posse, Elena, Vicky, Jocelyn, all of them because they were the ones who like helped me love it. They encouraged me and I was like, you know what? If these ladies can do it, like I can do it too. If these moms can do it, I can do it too. And I mean that's how I got into it.
And it's amazing because you're running groups, they become kind of like your second family, right? We spend so much time with them and during the conversations you share so much. Right, you're like, why did I say that? But you're not like sharing so much. Like they become like part of your family, like another home to you, right? And I love the fact that you mentioned about, like you did something that day that you thought you could never like do before. Like that's what running means so much to us because running shows us the ability or that our body can do when you really have like put the right mind into to push your body to that. Your body can do so much. It's just about having that connection between mind and body, right? I mean, running is such a mental sport. Yeah. Definitely. But that's That's pretty cool. So I'm so proud of you. And now you're running marathons and you're like kicking ass.
I know. Like it's always so fun to like hear other stories and to always think like gratitude, you know?
Yeah.
Like going back to like where I started, and I was like, I wish I could have people in my brain or in my thoughts so they could see how I just could not run like a quarter of a mile without literally sitting down, being gassed, and I just thought I couldn't do it. But there was also a time in my life where I was like struggling like mentally. Y'all are gonna make me cry.
No,
yeah, I was like struggling mentally too, like after the baby, and then I started going through a divorce and all of that. So
well, we're proud of you, Crystal, because now you have shown that you're a strong woman. You're so much capable of achieving impossible things, and you can do so much more. I get work out of girl cry. It's like mom's pause. All right. No, but this is what pretty much I want you guys to bring your move to share and other people to hear. Like, hey, I remember before that I will be driving and see people running, and I will see them. And I'm like, that's something I could never do. That's people are so cool. Like I could never ever run. Plus, believe it or not, people do not believe me when I say that I'm an introverted. So, like going from me outside of my house, like crossing the door is just hard for me because I feel it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. Just getting outside, it is hard for me. So just seeing people run, I'm like, I could never do that. It just like goes against everything in me, right? But now like it's just who I am. It's pretty cool. Thank you, Crystal, for sharing. I'm sure like like a lot of people will connect with each one of our stories. And on my far left, I have my friend Edna. I got to meet Edna, I guess, through the running community, through Reels, and there she has her her Instagram page, Millennial Running Moms, and I love that she's always sharing stories of other women accomplishing goals, from not only local, from all over, like everywhere, and you will see her just sharing accomplishments of other women, and I love that about her. So Edna has a bachelor's degree also in communications. She's a mom, she's a spouse, and she's a passionate runner. And girl, she runs fast. You see her running, and she looks so effortless, like nothing. I'm like, Edna, I'm trying to keep up with you, and she just like in her conversational pace, right? But she's like, we were running the El Paso half, and I was like here on the uphill, right? You know how it's like uphill and it was down. She was already coming down like nothing, like all happy, and she looked like so just waving at people, like so happy, and I'm here like struggling and dying to keep up with my pace. But yeah, she's a very strong runner, and I tell her you have potential. Yeah, you can just go ahead and exploit that. She has so much to release as a runner. So she's been running over 10 years. Wow. She's been 10 years. I know she has run triathlons also in the past, right? And I know her goal right now is to train for that Mexico City Marathon in September. Ooh, welcome back. Welcome, Edna. How are you?
Good. And yourself? Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's a pleasure to have my girls here. So, Edna, you share your story. How did you get into the running world?
Okay, I started running, like 10 years ago because when I finished my bachelor degree, I went to Dallas, and then I came back to El Paso. And I was like, what do I do now, other than just working? And then one of my friends, he's like, hey, now you should join. I used to live in Juarez with my parents when I came back. He's like, hey, you should come run with me at 10K. And I'm like, no, I can't run at 10K. He's like, yeah, just train for a little bit, and then we'll go around this race. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I remember running my first 10K, I was dying. I remember I was like, oh my God, I can't do this and do this. And after that, when I finished running, I was like, I love it.
Okay.
This is so cool. And then the same friend, he told me, hey, now let's run the El Paso half marathon. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't know if I can do a half marathon. Like, I've never done it. He's like, yeah, let's train, let's do it, blah, blah, blah. And that was my first half marathon, El Paso half marathon, like 50 years ago.
Okay.
A long time ago. And I struggled a lot because it was all messed up.
Okay.
And a lot of hills. It was crazy. It was hard.
And I know that they said they complain when they carry out that route because it was all mesa and then up, down.
Yeah, it was mesa, up and then down and up. It was crazy. But I remember at the end, I was like, I love this. I'm going to do running. So I ran for a while, and then when I was in Juarez one time running, I think there was like a bike race, and a coach told me, he's like, hey, I'm opening a women's triathlon team. You want to join? And I'm like, well, I'm a good swimmer because I was always on a swimming team when I was a little girl. And I was like, but I don't know if I know how to ride a bike, but I'm not good at bike. He's like, no, don't worry. We're going to start training, blah, blah, blah. So he started training us. Then we started doing like triathlons around the city. And then here in El Paso, and then we went also to Rocky Point, like Puerto Peñasco. And we were good. Like we were always be like podium, like first place, second place, third place. And then after that, one of my friends, she's like, should we sign up for an Ironman, like a half one? I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. That was
So you keep just stepping it up.
I don't know. But that was prior to getting married. Because, I have all this free time, right? Which I don't have anymore. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So we trained we did the Cozumel Ironman, the half. The 7.3 in Cozumel, and it was the best experience in my life. It was hard. Like I remember you do the swimming, it's the water, it's beautiful. You see fishes when you're swimming.
Oh, that's so nice.
And then you get on the bike and you go around the island, Cozumel, beautiful. And then at the end, when I was coming out of the bike, I started getting cramps on my legs.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh no. Like I start crying because I was like, I'm not going to finish this race. And then there was a dad and a son came and like, are you okay? You're fine. I was like, I have a lot of cramps. So they went with me the whole time until we finished the bike. Super nice. And then at the end, Dad told me, make sure you stretch before the run. And then when I started running, the sun in Cozumel was like crazy, like crazy.
Super hot and humid.
Hot. And it was like half marathon. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's humid. Like the same as El
Super
Paso,
humid.
but humid. But yeah, at the end, I finished and I was so happy, and it was like the best experience of my life. And after that, I haven't done an Ironman or triathlon. Well, I did a lot of triathlons. I had done the Mighty Mujer here, the Eagle in the Sun. Super recommend the Eagle in the Sun. I love it. But I think triathlon, I love more triathlon than running. But right now, like, I don't have the time because of my daughter. Like after that, I got married, and my husband did some triathlons with me, but life get busy. So I was like, okay, if I can do triathlons right now, I'm gonna do running. So I've been running for a couple of years.
So I've been focused on running.
Focus on running. And I remember even my friends are like, when are you coming back to triathlon? But I also feel, and I don't know if I told you, like there's times in life. Right now my time is to focus. Number one is my family. And second of all, it's like my hobbies, running and my work and. But I was like, right now is a time to focus maybe in running. And whenever my daughter gets older, I'll have the time to come back and triathlon. Because I like to do good,
Yeah, of
Like
course.
I like to train and make sure, I'm going to do good.
But I see you bringing your girl already to the track. So I think that's pretty exciting that you being kind of like that role model, bringing that part of exercise to your daughter's life. So that's pretty cool.
Love my daughter. Actually, can I say?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if they can see it, but I will put the flyer at my daughter's school, Emmanuel Christian School. They're going to have a 5K. And all the money is going to go to create a new weight room.
Okay.
So if you guys want to come, it's 5K and 1 mile. My daughter wanted to do the 5K, but we were training at the track, and she's like, I don't know. So she's doing the 1 mile.
Okay.
And I'm doing the 5K. But yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I want to run. So we've been going training, but I think she needs a little bit more time to go to the 5K.
That's pretty cool that you are doing this type of activities together, and it helps you to create that like strong mom-daughter bond through these physical activities. So I think that's a beautiful opportunity. So yeah, of course, make sure you guys to sign up for this race. I'll go ahead and share and post a link. I always put like links to link to people or to races or things like that. So I'll go ahead and share that information with everybody. All right, ladies. So now that you talk about your introduction into the running world, right? How do you guys balance life? I mean, all of your moms, you're like professionals, you work. I know you're training, not just like I don't want to say just for 5Ks, because I think I'm more afraid of 5Ks than marathons, right? They're faster and require more speed work. But how do you manage like all this balance in your life? Paulina, how do you keep that?
Time.
Okay.
It's time. I feel like the question I get the most, probably you do too, I feel like you do as somebody who consistently runs, right? Is how do you do it? and where do you fit the time? And you just do. I mean, I remember when Stella was a newborn till now, even now that she's climbing into my bed because we're trying to sleep train her. She's 2.5. We had to wake up at I was waking up at like 4 o'clock, 4:15. I would wake up for some marathon trainings as early as, I think one time I did 2:30 to start running at 3 because I had to be done by the time I had to go to T-ball or just to take care of my kids. Even though my husband is a saint and puts up with me being a vegetable the rest of the day sometimes if I'm doing like a 20-mile or 18-mile run or just a hard run. But yeah, it's just making sure that now I'm prioritizing sleep, which is a whole other conversation because I'd wake up after sleeping like 4 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, which was not good. Don't recommend it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just making sure that you put it in a planner and making it happen. But running with a group, that's why I say they changed my life. I don't know that I would have had the consistency that it requires to run the kind of mileage that we're doing without a group to show up with, because there's so many mornings where you're exhausted.
And you don't have that mind, like you're pretty much fighting against yourself that you have your routine, your schedule to follow, and your desire to meet a goal versus that you're tired, you're fatigued, maybe you're like don't have the energy or the right state of mind to do it that day.
I think what is helpful too is signing up for that race that scares you or that you just want to do, right? No, it doesn't have to be scary. But
sometimes
most of the time it's scary. We still get scared after running marathons, right? You're like, what did I do once you're having to hit like 16, 18 miles? But setting a goal, like sign up for the race, or whether it's the 5K, the 10K, the half, the full, like sign up for it. And that's going to commit you, because there's so many mornings, more mornings than not, where you don't want to run when it's freezing outside, when the wind here is insane and you've got to run. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to set the goal, and that helps push you through. And we're running with people. That's a game changer.
So you think those two are like your key, like your pillars for that? And I think you mentioned like something very important, like your family. We have it looks like a full-time job, right? Training for a marathon, like the nutrition, the sleeping, the everything that takes place, right? The schedule, the training, the strength workout, the this and that and whatever, right? But sometimes we don't realize that it has so much impact also on our family, because they have to, I don't want to say put up, but cooperate.
Do put up
and
with
assist us, right? And having the support of like your husband, like for me, sometimes when I'm like in the strong, hard, high mileage, then I know I'm very tired. I'm following like a very rigorous schedule. He will, you know what? I'm going to let you sleep. I'm going to sleep in the other room so you can actually sleep. So sometimes you make these accommodations, and so much support from your family to help you, to push you. I know we're not Olympic, we're not elite athletes, but you kind of like have to train like a professional runner and follow a similar schedule. And I don't think we can do it without the support of our family.
There's no way. Couple cool quick stories. I remember I was training for, I think it was the Mountain to Beach Marathon, which I didn't end up being able to run because I had ended up getting fluid in one of my lungs the week before. I remember one of the long runs, I was so tired. And I wasn't going to go on my run. Josh woke up and he goes, "Are you not going to go on your run?" I said, "I'm just exhausted." He goes, "You have to go run." And I thought, oh, okay. I said, "No, you're right. I have to go run." And I don't think have ever said I'm not running. It was that day. I was just beat. And I think I maybe slept like 3 hours. Like it was a rough night with one of the kids. I think they were sick. I mean, it was just the trifecta of bad circumstance. And he helped push me through. But yeah, it's his support. My mother-in-law, my goodness, there's been so many times where if Josh was out of town, she'd come over at 4 a.m. so that I could leave the house. And then of course, having them there on like race day, like there was nothing more epic than having them there on race day, like New York City Marathon. They were in the VIP section. Wow. And Stella had just turned 1, which was like such just the coolest way to meet that goal. Was like, I'm going to have a 1-year-old and I'm going to run a marathon. And everybody who thought I couldn't do it, even people who love me, running proves to you that you are
every single run
capable, so capable of doing times 1,000 of what arbitrary limit you set on yourself.
Yeah, for sure. How do you girls keep up with that balance?
I think for me, it's planning and routine as well. Like one little thing I do, like for myself and for my daughter, I try to stay on top of laundry.
Okay.
And like I have like this organizer in my closet where I put my daughter's clothes, her bows, like everything she's gonna wear, like down to her socks. And
nice.
So I kind of keep my life organized.
Very
like
organized.
that. Yeah, so that my brain can stay organized, so that I can focus on everything that I have to do. And like I'm a single mom of 2. My son is he's early college and he's an athlete and he has his own life that's probably as busy as mine. And then a toddler. I mean, y'all know how toddlers are, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's definitely routine and like planning. I do have a planner where I write down every single thing that I have to do or think about or whatever, and I mark things off. And then, like even today, I'm like, okay, I have to run today. I have a 5.5 mile speed training today. I'll do the podcast. I'll go to my orthodontist appointment. So that means I'll go run on campus at this time.
And do you have it all typed out? Like, do you
for
have
sure.
it? Yeah, okay.
Yes. I should have brought my planner. Like I have it all written down, like times and everything. And that's just kind of how I like live my life. I think ahead, like I'm already thinking of Saturday and my run on Saturday. So for me, it's just really a routine and like staying on top of my routine and staying consistent. Those days when I'm tired, I try to like move it around. Like, okay, my rest day is tomorrow. Maybe I'll take my rest day today and then I'll run tomorrow. So just routine and like planning for me.
Okay. And for example, adding to all of this, I know it's nutrition, because nutrition plays like an important factor. We're talking about being tired all the time because marathon training is pretty much building up, accumulative fatigue to the muscle and also like producing stress and stretching that tolerance to fatigue to build up those stronger miles, right? And that's why you were mentioning sleeping is so important for us. Like sleeping is a ritual, like sacred, right? But also it's nutrition. So for example, you and how do you do your nutrition? How do you make sure that you have the proper nutrition and combine it with your family as well? Because sometimes like they're not gonna eat the same thing. My family's tired of eating rice, so
my husband loves rice, and I'm always like, rice too. I'm trying to stay away from rice for the carbs. But yeah, I don't have anything special for nutrition to be like. I'm very.
So you don't struggle, for example, in that case with your family eating different things. Okay.
I don't struggle.
Yeah, me either. For me, I just made it a lifestyle.
Okay.
And then sometimes I'll buy like little goodies or whatever to like have in the pantry, more so for my 15-year-old. Like he's in high school, so he's gonna have things anyways, like at school. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of made it a lifestyle for all of us, so they know like the type of groceries I buy. They know we're eating fruit for sweets or whatever. Okay. And then I mean, we'll have a little fun. Like maybe like once a week, but yeah, we don't really struggle.
No. Okay, am I the only one? I'm one of those that always eat the same thing. I'm like a very picky eater, so I always eat the same thing. I always eat my rice, and everybody knows that I have my rice cooker, and it's the same thing every single day. And yesterday, my daughter was like, "I don't think I can eat rice anymore." I swear, this was yesterday. I like rice, but I don't think I can eat rice like every day anymore. So, you, Paulina, do you struggle?
I struggle to eat because, running after little kids, but my secret weapon right now is putting protein in my coffee.
Okay.
So that way when I get home and I have my coffee after a run, protein's getting in there. And so if I am able to get eggs or nothing, at least I've had a little protein, so I feel a little better about myself.
And you, for example, when you guys finish your run, and you got to have your protein within 20 minutes, right, of finishing your run, ideally. What do you guys do for protein? How do you?
So I have a vegan protein powder that I use, and either I'll take it like in a little baggie with me on my runs. Actually, we did a run with Coffee Posse the other day, and we went to Dutch Bros, and they had a protein coffee.
Oh, nice.
I've never done protein in my coffee, and I was like, I think I want to do this now. It was so good. Yeah. So I think I'm going to start doing that, but I'll take like my little shaker cup and water and ice or whatever, and I just like chug it and then.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I've never been there. The only time that I went to that coffee shop, I stopped by drive-through, and they have like these weird names for the the drinks. I got scared, and I don't know what this is. I just excuse me. So I just drove away. So I got lost. I swear they have like these weird names. But now that like telling me a protein, just pass me the name, so at least I'll be more confident.
That's cool. I didn't literally call the protein coffee. I didn't know
That's
either
how it's
until
called?
last
Okay.
weekend. It was so good too.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
And do they have oat milk?
Yes,
Yeah,
they have all the milk.
Yeah, all right.
They have
Okay.
all the
Okay.
All right. So there we go. I know
I
what
usually
it
put
is.
on mine, I put the protein and I put collagen and then put keratin and then I put ashwagandha and all of that and I mix it. And I usually do like chocolate or banana and there we
Okay.
go after my run.
That's
That's why
good.
I have my hair long. Collagen, girls.
A collagen.
Collagen.
Okay.
And that also helps for your bones and your knees.
And your joints, of course, your joints, for sure.
Need to
Do you,
take collagen.
Paulina?
Like a powder or
Like a powder collagen. You can
guess
put
what
it
I'm
in your
buying
coffee
today.
too in the morning. Like sometimes when I don't run, I put it on my coffee.
Okay.
But yeah.
nice. Okay.
I didn't
lot.
think of that. That's pretty cool.
Because I think it's very hard. Like sometimes I struggle with being hungry for for a while after the run. Do that happens to you?
I struggle to eat before running
Before.
sometimes, but
Okay.
FYI, I feel like I didn't know this, so I'm going to say it. As women, our cortisol spikes. I learned this. I don't know
Yeah.
this, right? I don't just know it. But I learned this because I have high cortisol, which is a whole thing. But our cortisol is at the highest as humans in the morning, but as women, we're extra sensitive to it. So I was doing, my brain is speaking in Spanish. I was committing the error of running fasted, which is terrible for your cortisol, and I didn't know this. So now I'm forcing myself I'll have like pre-prep sourdough, like granola bars, like homemade ones, or just anything to eat before a run, even my short runs. I was only eating before long runs, like oatmeal or something, but now I'm forcing myself to like wake up. I take my like adrenal pills and I'll eat something and then I'll go run. So
And that's an important thing because we say like after, and we have to still wake up to have that feeling properly, to feel strong during the run. It's also something that you have to train. You cannot just have breakfast and go. I don't know if other people can do that, but it's something that you actually have to train your gut to the different types of carbs and assimilate that. And I'm glad you mentioned that hormone thing because that's something I think men do not have to worry about. I'm so sorry, guys. You're here in like outside on this conversation. Please feel free to join and listen to it and learn something about it, right? But hormones play such an important role, like during our running month, right? Because we have two main phases. We have the follicular phase and we have the luteal phase, right? Within the half of the month, the second month, which is the luteal phase, right? That's when we feel like all tired and kind of like, I even started kind of like, what phase am I going to eat during the race? Like, am I going to PR or am I not going to PR? Right? Because like the different hormone levels, either even like on the estrogen picking up before ovulation, we feel stronger, we feel good, give me that PR, like we have give it all, bring me all those heels that these girls bring me, right? I'm good to go, bring it on. And so second phase of the month is like, oh damn it, I don't even want to wake up, I'm depressed, I hate everybody stay away from me, right? So that is something that men do not have even to worry about or consider, and especially I'm in my 40s, like almost late 40s, right? So we're having to notice like a decline in changes in your mood and your energy and everything, and that also plays an important role for us. And I knew you were going through that cortisol changes. Do you want to share something about that?
So I'm still going through it. I don't really have answers. I will keep this brief. So in between my pregnancies, I lost weight really fast. I was very fortunate. I lost weight fast nursing my son. And then I kind of gained the weight again. Well, they found a pituitary tumor on my pituitary gland. Sounds scary because the word tumor, but they're usually benign. They can wreak havoc on your body. They're not good. They can, like worst case scenario, on older women especially, if they get them, it can cause blindness. Like it can grow to the point to where it'll affect your vision. So if you're getting blurry vision, go check it out. that wasn't the case for me. I was getting like dull headaches, but we were trying to have another baby, couldn't track my cycle because there was nothing. And I was starting to gain weight again, which was kind of weird because I was working out and I'm pretty decent with what I eat. So they found the tumor. I took a pill, had Stella, got off the pill for the tumor, and then had Stella, and then was able to start my pill again because you can't take that special, it's a hardcore medication for it. You can't take it pregnant or nursing. So I started taking it again, and then my weight started coming back. That's always what we notice, right? Is like the weight gain. And I told my endocrinologist, I said, it doesn't make sense that I'm gaining weight when I am working out the weight. Do you understand how much I run? He was like, what are you doing for exercise? I was like, explain. He was like mansplaining to me, like, you need to exercise more. No.
Sir, sit down, please.
But when I told him, I said, I am running this much. I'm running halves. I'm running marathons. And he right away, like it clicked for him. He said, something's wrong. And he asked me, what's your diet like? And I told him, he's like, okay, something is definitely wrong. Long story short, I suspect, and he suspects too, although I'm still undergoing testing because it's very extensive, that I might have Cushing's disease, which is like randomly what Amy Schumer has, if you know who she is, she's a comedian. And it can cause a lot of weight gain, like in the abdomen and like your upper body. So like I've noticed right now I'm as heavy as I was when I was 7 months pregnant. And I noticed that, right? You notice it.
It's just like having high stress constantly in your body.
So basically what I have with high cortisol is my body is in fight or flight mode like all the time. Like I'm waking up fight or flight and going to bed fight or flight. And I didn't really notice it much until I started having this conversation with my endo. I also hired an integrative practitioner, and she has me like on all kinds of natural supplements to help, regulate myself. I don't really have answers yet, but I'm very sensitive now to telling other women to be careful with their hormones. Like I also learned cold plunging is not good for you as a woman if you have high cortisol, because a cold plunge spikes your cortisol levels. So I'm learning all this stuff, right? And it's just, I've learned very much through running, thankfully. You are so hyper in tune with your body running because you feel everything, right? That's why we're such divas
And
about
everything
our
impacts.
shoes and our all of the things, but you are very in tune. It makes you in tune with your body to where I knew something was wrong, and I was able to self-advocate, right, and push for that. But yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I've had to step back from some of the intensity of my running because it's spiking my cortisol. That's been the hardest thing.
Okay.
I like working out hard, right? I like to think I have the Goggins mentality, which I do. But it's also as a woman, I don't have the luxury that men have in terms of not being very sensitive hormonally. That's just the cards I was dealt. So now I'm trying to figure it out. I cut out speed work. I'm trying to cut out hills. I did a crazy hard hill run, courtesy of Pam. I had, like 3 weeks ago, we literally climbed for almost 13 miles.
Oh my
like
gosh.
climbed like Mesa, Escondido, Belvedere, the mountain. Like it was a climb, and I thought I was gonna throw up. I never felt like
these girls love heels. So, for example,
my
they already posted like the workout for tomorrow, and I swear all day I'm like, am I gonna go or am I not gonna go? Like I'm like here.
Planning, routine.
Pamela, don't listen to this episode, please. But I'm like here considering, do I have like tomorrow like the right state of mind to go for that hilly route? I know I don't know. I'll let you know. But yes, but you're so good with like Pamela.
I love hills.
Paulina is great with hills.
It's also the mentality of, it's so funny. I'm such I swear I don't have this big of a potty mouth, but when I see a hill or something challenging like that, I was telling my husband this when he was running the Austin half. I was running with him. I said, you've got to make that hill your bitch. Like you have got to flip it. Don't look at the hill and be like, oh my gosh, another hill. Like, oh great. Like if you start having a defeatist mentality, that hill's going to suck.
Yeah.
Really bad. You've got to flip it.
And I know Paulina is always like dig. Oh, when she's going to dig, and going up, so I'm always dig. Like thinking, Paulina, you're in my heart when I'm like running heels, and all of you girls, I'm like here, like have you here. But I'm glad you're sharing that story, because That's exactly what women need, some factors that we need to consider. Men, I'm so sorry, you might focus on your nutrition and other things, but as women, we have to consider like the differences, hormone levels, and the changes that we navigate through as we grow older, right? That I'm sorry, it just has to be part of things that we have to consider. And I'm glad you share that, because maybe other women, I'm like, well, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing diet, I'm doing nutrition, I'm doing this. Why do I feel like that? And sometimes we're not aware, or we don't know that there's like other possibilities that we need to consider.
You know, I feel like, well, to finish that story, so we did that ridiculous run, and I got smoked. Erica was crushing it. Pam, like everybody was just amazing. And we finished the run. The next day, I woke up feeling horrendous. Like I felt sick. Josh said, "You look like you're dying." I thought, "Oh, great."
Thanks.
And I spiked a fever. I was like bedridden, and I had to do an open house, and I just sat on my client's couch. Like, it was the worst. Thankfully, nobody went that day.
You know, like serve yourself. Go ahead. Take a look.
But I realized something. I had an epiphany, right? I was like, girlfriend, again, you're like, I wasn't listening. I just wasn't listening. And I realized I need to taper down on my runs. So I had to back out of the Mighty Mohead because I was training for that. Again, counterproductive. But I think that runners in general, and this translates to guys too, runners, once you get to the addiction part that we're all in, right? We love running, like we just depend on it. When you get injured, or you have everybody goes through stuff in their running journey where there is a moment where you will have to step back, and that's a really hard moment. And I'm in that moment, and it's that makes me more emotional than anything, like not being able to go hard and work out with the intensity that I like, because I almost feel like, well, I'm being weak, but I feel like I'm being weaker by being stubborn. So it's something that you just, once you start running this much, you are going to have that moment, and being able to step back and like maybe focusing on stretching or doing yoga or doing something that's not as intensive. Weights
are very good.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's hard. So anyway,
I think that's one of the things that I started to learn, as you know, like through my running journey. We always want more, right? More speed, more distance, but we don't know how to take some time off for our bodies to heal and recover. I think I learned through my coach. So for me, like June and December are like my off seasons, and even though if I don't want to, I start to appreciate them, you know, like it's off season, like go ahead and travel, do something, walk, or just go to the gym. But your body needs a chance to recover and to heal in order to keep up with the continuous amounts of stress that we're putting into it, right?
yeah.
But yeah, paying attention to symptoms is very important, not only hormonal, but also there's so many nutritional deficiencies also that we have to consider more in women as well. Iron deficiency anemia. In runners, in long distance runners, it's very common to lose a lot of red blood cells to produce anemia because of the constant food strike, right? Plus menstrual cycle and all the blood loss that we have. So it's very common to have iron deficiency anemia. I always recommend to get your iron profile checked at least at the beginning of a training season and at the end of the training season. At least I do it once every 6 months. Not only make sure to ask your physician, not only to ask about your total iron, because that's your total amount of iron circulating in your plasma, but also we have your ferritin. That's going to be your storage of iron, because sometimes your iron levels are going to be okay, but then your storage is going to be extremely low, and you're like, why am I feeling fatigued, right? I'm feeling tired. I'm eating right. Again, we go back to I'm eating right. I'm doing everything by the book. I'm sleeping. I'm taking vitamins. What's going on, right? So just to keep a couple of other symptoms, like being fatigued is very common in runners, but that fatigue that even you're eating right and everything, you just don't have that energy. You're just constantly chronic, and it starts to build up. So that's something also for women to consider. Get your iron profile check. That's very important for us. Plus the blood that we lose during menstruation. So that's something very important to consider as well. So symptoms, right? It's very important. Other things too. to do that. All right, guys. So from going from medicals to anything funny that has happened to you in the races, weird stuff that you've struggled with.
You know how we were talking about nutrition?
Okay.
I can never eat before a race. Like if I
Okay.
eat before a race, I would be in the bathroom.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that happened to me one time that I went with El Paso running, and I was running with Jim. And I remember I was like, I had to eat something, but I usually don't eat anything. Like, I'm just like that. So I ate something the middle of a run. I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. And I was like, no. Jim was with me the whole time, like talking.
You
And I'm
cannot
like,
even say it.
I'm like, I can't stop. And then I tell him, like,
You know what?
you know what? I need to go to the bathroom. I was so embarrassed. It's like, okay, we're just going to go to the park and they have potties. You can go there. And then when we got there, I was like, you know what? Just go ahead.
go.
Because,
Leave me
like, you know,
Worst
I don't know.
fear.
Yeah, it was horrible. And then that happened to me in El Paso. And then we did the Albuquerque half marathon, me and my husband. But it was downhill. So we needed to be there at 4:30 in the morning. So they can drive us in a bus up the mountain. And then we were coming down. So we were there so early that I was like, I'm going to grab a coffee and a bar. So it was like
Okay.
the worst thing ever.
I've never had
Yeah.
coffee before.
I was like, because we were freezing. It was so cold on the mountain that I was like, I just need coffee. I just need coffee. No, in the middle of the race, I had to stop at the bathroom. Worst timing. And I was like, I never do that.
Yeah, I can't
Oh
eat
my
before a
God.
run.
No,
The
me
long
neither.
runs, like I make myself eat and I wake up earlier, but I just like I feel full and I just can't do it. Like,
Yeah.
But I've incorporated like eating during my runs, so I'll take like little snacks since I just can't eat before.
But you never had like a GI issue or anything during a race?
That's why I'm scared to eat before a run.
Okay.
So I
Oh.
don't do it. Yeah,
Girl,
I'm like,
once it
no.
happens,
Yeah.
it just traumatizes you
Yeah.
for life.
I was running with somebody. I don't remember who it was. And I was like, I need to pee. And he's like, just pee in your chores. I'm like, I think he was doing the full. He's like, I do it all the time. I was like, oh my God.
No,
Like,
for me it
people
was
are crazy.
a 5K, not even a long distance, dude. It was like 5K. It was like almost like I was going for the final, like 1 mile, and I just had to, I just had to stop and walk. I'm like, it's gonna happen right now, and I was so embarrassed because I'm like, the people in the back, they're gonna know, they're gonna see me, and I was like just walking, and when we made it, like we get to the final, to the finish line, one of them from Up and Running, he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I just walked like if I had like my diapers, I was just walking like slowly because I didn't want nothing, like nobody to see me. It was like so embarrassing. It worse that it was a 5K. That's like even worse. But yeah, things happened.
Yeah. But you know what? Now that I well, before I remember running, I was like, nothing, I can go fast and everything. But now that I'm getting older, I'm like, no, I do need, my bars, like doing like
Yeah,
half marathon.
but you train your gut.
Yeah.
Like now you train. Yeah.
When I go to a half marathon, I don't eat anything in the morning, but I take my gels,
Yeah.
So I just take my gels during the run, and then I'm good. But like actually eating something is like
No.
my stomach, it will be like no. But everybody is different because I
Yeah.
have friends that are like, no, I wake up at 4 in the morning, have my breakfast and everything. So yeah, everybody, you have to do what works.
Yeah,
with
what
you.
works. That's very important because each one of us is completely different. We respond differently, and training should be completely different, right? We cannot follow what everybody's doing. Please make sure to do that. What else? No, for me, 10 miles. I think 10 miles is my line. Where if it's gonna be anything over 10, I do wake up earlier to have my butter, my toast with peanut butter, with banana, I put honey. I just go crazy on it. I'm like, it's drunk for that, for those heels with the girls, right? All right, guys. So I don't know. We can take forever with this podcast. I've been having so much fun with you. All right, so I have like a couple of fun questions. Tell me I want to do that. Would you rather? Okay, would you rather run with someone chatty or someone silent?
I'm a silence girl.
Yeah.
And actually, crazy story. I used to run by myself. Like I love the group runs, but I feel like Running is also like my outlet. Like we're moms, we have our careers and stuff like that. So running is my outlet. So I would always like run by myself over like near home until I got attacked by dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I run and I talk and I'm chatty and all that kind of stuff, but I prefer silence.
Silence.
I'm a
Edna?
chatty.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the good thing is that, at your pace, you talk, I listen.
I'm the friend, and she's like, I can run and talk at the same time. Okay, I was like, okay, I'll see you at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Running with Edna is pretty cool because you're like, okay, she's gonna be the talker one. I'll just focus on my breathing.
I remember I was telling you the story when I started doing the triathlons. The coach told me, well, he was like, let's meet here, let's run. And we were talking the whole time, and I didn't know he's like, wow, at the end, he's like, you're good because you can run and talk. Like,
yeah.
like, we run for 50 minutes, 50, and you were talking the whole time. So you're like in a great
perfect,
condition.
yes.
So that's how I used to it, talking.
Chatty.
Chat.
My husband, and again, Austin Half, I'm trying to like chit chat with him, like to pump him up, and he's just like,
No, it is.
stop. I'm trying to survive.
I think I'm silent. I'm the quiet one. And I tend to be a lone wolf runner. I think that's my safety, my space, my kind of like my time. But but I guess with the group, it pushes me again to get out of my comfort zone when I go to a group run because I'm totally a lone wolf runner. So, but it's good, like you need your people to push you as well. So, do you prefer to run in the freezing cold or like El Paso dry heat? What do you guys prefer?
Cold.
Cold?
That's a good one.
Really?
I love the heat.
I love the heat too. Me too. I love the heat too.
And I feel like it makes running easier when we're actually doing these races
Yeah.
during the winter.
Okay.
So,
So you like
yeah,
that dry
like the
heat at 100 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm a heat person too,
Yeah,
like
too.
cold. As long as there's no wind, like the wind is the one I'm like, okay, no, that's not happening. I'm going to a treadmill, right? So
I feel like it makes you tougher though. I always think of
True.
like Erica
Yeah.
when we're
Yeah.
up on Coronado and we're running and
True.
it's like 30 degrees outside and it's like whipping cold air. We're just like, you have to train in everything.
True.
Yeah.
And that's why I love fall marathons because you train like in the heat, you develop that, and then like the kind of like that breezy, colder morning begins, and it just puts you run faster in colder
easier,
temperatures.
Chat and talk.
Yes. Yeah. So I think it's like perfect, right? So road or trail? I have road runners here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done a trail run, like to be honest. So I don't know. I'm
Trails
like,
are fun, but I always get hurt. Like,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
But they're fun.
I feel like I'm gonna fall. So
I haven't done trails, but I'm just scared I'll fall and I don't want to hurt
have you fall before?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah. No, you haven't. Oh, you failed on at the race.
race. And my husband was like, oh no, my dad was like, you fell. I'm like, this is not the first time. But past the marathon, I was coming fast downhill. And I didn't see one of the cracks by the end. Like the street was very bad.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. And then, but it was super fast. Like there was probably a guy behind me and he picked me up. And then I wanted to cry. I was like, no.
No, keep it up.
Keep it up, like 2 or 3 more miles. Let's go, let's go.
okay.
And then when I got there, Angie was there, and she's like, let me help you. I'm like, I'm fine. But they were super nice after that. But in trail, I have fell in trail and hurt my knee too. But I love trail. When I get bored of the road, I go to the trail.
I've never tried trail, like
Try
to
it.
be honest. But I'm like,
Just be careful. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna fall. I'm like, knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
If you think you're gonna fall, don't go.
Yeah, I'm already thinking, right? So, would you run as much as you want on the treadmill or only once a week outside?
I get bored on the treadmill.
Really?
Yes.
I'm a treadmill. I love treadmills so much.
Me neither.
I think I've learned to appreciate the treadmill because
Yeah.
it's not as much impact
Yeah.
on our knees and
Yeah.
all of that. So I go on the treadmill maybe like twice a week,
Okay.
just to kind of have balance. But I don't know. I like being outside.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
I love my treadmill. I mean, I wouldn't change it. Of course, road. I usually have like two, kind of like one medium long run and one my long run. And the medium one I carry it on the treadmill because I feel like mentality wise, it helps me to maintain like a solid pace throughout the long run. and it helps you like with that mental strength to stay focused, right? I just put like a concert. I put Foo Fighters. I always put the same Foo Fighters live show in Madison Square, and then according to the music, let's go, and I'm like just like letting it go. So I have fun with that. So, but I began running on the treadmill for health reasons. So I think I have a history with it. So we're friends. All right. So run without music or without a GPS watch? What would be worse?
I'll just do without music.
Yeah, me
I
too.
have to have my watch.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Right?
Yeah, I like to listen to music.
Yeah.
But
What kind of music do you listen to?
it just depends on my mood. Like if I'm trying to go chill, I'll listen to like Christian music or it's Nicki Minaj saying horrible things.
I love that
Depending on the mood.
ambivalence of it.
Yeah, Sterling's not
Your
allowed to listen
dualistic
to my-
side.
It's pretty naughty. Yeah, it just
But it gets into like those words. Right? What do you guys listen to?
For me, it also depends on my mood. If I'm in like a chill mood, it's the morning. I like to listen to like Sade or Leon Bridges. I listen to a lot of Beyonce, specifically the Homecoming album. It's like her live album.
It's a good one.
Yeah, if I'm feeling spicy, I'll listen to Sexy Red or Glorilla or something
Okay,
like that.
okay.
Memphis rappers. So
Okay, but you have a good taste in music because I
do.
was
You
following you, and yeah, like send us your playlist.
Yes,
You know,
I got
my daughter, she's like a very big jazz connoisseur. She loves about jazz, and she's like the queen of like R&B. She knows everything about R&B. Who recorded that album? Who was the producer? Who was the editor? You know, where did they get the tracks from? She knows so much R&B and hip hop. So I'm like, can you create me like a playlist of like hip hop? And I try to listen to it. And I'm like, this is not my music.
By the way, the Bad Bunny album, the new one.
I love it.
I listened to that album on repeat for the Austin
I'm gonna
half.
say that. Oh,
Yeah, is it? Okay.
So I was dancing the whole
Yeah.
time. It was
Okay.
so good. I took a shot of Fireball at mile 11. It was just,
oh my God.
it was so fun.
I love dance music, like disco music. Disco music is like so fun to listen to it. That's a good one. There's like if you that movie The Martian, it had like a playlist of like 80s, 70s funk and disco music. Now that is it's good, but yeah. Because hip hop like R&B puts me like in a loving, like in a mood. I just want to choke it, kind of like. So I'm like, no, this is not right for me. So it's funny, but no, I'm a metalhead. Like funny thing, yes, I love metal music so much, and I'm like with the screaming, I'm like, like I'm like all smiley and like here outside, but. For here, my hair, like headphones, is like just like screamo. I love it so much, and then it goes to Taylor Swift, So that would be my dualistic me. So I can go from metalhead to my like to being a Swiftie. So it's funny. All right, guys. So there's another one here. I just copied this one from running in your favorite outfit every single day. It says, but only wash it once a week, or run it in clean clothes that you hate every day.
give me clean clothes.
Clean
every day.
clothes, yeah.
So at least these girls are not stinky. So.
I am so stinky. There's no way that would
I
work.
know.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, even though,
Same.
right?
I'm the worst.
Sometimes I feel like I ever change like 2 or 3 times a day. I'm like, why do I have so much laundry?
Yes.
happens,
I told
yeah.
y'all that's why laundry is a part of like my routine. And
How you keep up with it?
I don't.
I
either.
don't like it's so hard. I
Yeah.
have to have like today will be
Yeah.
my day to
Yeah.
sit and watch Yellowstone and fold all the laundry and put it away. I don't know. I'm still working to
Yeah.
like find some kind of a routine with laundry. And one time I just hired somebody to do my laundry. Like I just couldn't handle it. It was
Yeah.
just too much.
But yeah, the sweaty and that, it makes me feel like I'm always stinking, and I always carry like this little perfume that I'm always
too.
spraying because I have like the idea of it and I'm sweating. I'm like, oh my God, I stink, So even in the gym, I'm done with the treadmill and I'm just like spraying like all over. I guess that's it. Oh, okay. Get free running shoes or free registrations for life?
Registration for life.
Registrations? Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. That was a good one.
I have a friend, she's like, I was like, I'm registering for these days. But I was like, she's like, Edna, do they charge for their races? I'm like, dude, like, he's like, I thought all the races were free. I'm like,
No.
dude,
No.
I wish. I was
Yeah.
like, no, it's like, you want to do so many races. I was like, okay, I can pay for this one, this one. It's
All
crazy.
right. Okay, girls. So any last words that you want to share with our listeners?
I would say if I like to speak to moms who think that they can't do the run, right? Like, and or even just women or guys too. Like it's funny. I'll meet people at like checking out at Dick's, and I told the kid there, like, I'm doing the half, or I forgot what I was doing. He goes, I've always wanted to run one. And I said, and I told my husband the same thing. So my husband's a big guy. He's tall and he's just like a big guy. You have to start with 1 mile. Just start with 1 mile. Start with half a mile, right? Start with half a mile and just be consistent and do that for a few weeks. And then add half a mile or a mile, depending on what your fitness level was before. Don't think about the high mileage and just be consistent. And before you know it, and pick something that you're going to sign up for. And then before you know it, you'll have gotten there. Walking, or my husband, after going to his second, I like to share this story real quick. After going to his second full marathon with me, we went to Chicago, and he like got to experience like the end of it, right? And he was so proud of me, and he was like, this is so cool. My son was there. And I think it finally like clicked, and we were walking back to the hotel, and he said, I said, you need a goal. He said, maybe I'll run the Austin half with you. And I said, really? And he would always tell me, it's your thing, it's not my thing, right? And I said, seriously? He said, yeah. And I said, okay, if you do this, I won't run the full, I'll run the half, and I'll run it with you. And we signed up, and I started him on like the, lightest plan, super easy. 'Cause what you don't want to do is get to the point where you're hurting and you hate it. You got to hurt because it's going to hurt, but where you could build on it. But anyway, before he knew it, he did it, and like him finishing, he was so proud of himself. It was just the coolest thing. And literally we were taking our bibs off, like still hurting, and like I had just finished partying to Bad Bunny, but he was hurting. And he said, let's do another one. And I just was like, yes. So I'd like to tell people, just start with a mile and pick a race. Yeah. Pick something.
There you go.
Yeah. So for me, I normally tell people the same thing too. I tell them pick a goal. And I always think of that quarter of a mile that I couldn't run, and then I could run it, and then I could run more, and then 5 miles, and then marathons. And for me too, like what I do is I like to keep it real on my Instagram. Like I show people the ugly parts of running, the fun parts of running, just everything, because people know that I'm a mom. They know that I'm a single mom. Like I'm super busy with my career. And I just want to tell people, want to tell moms, women, girls, like everybody, like you can do it. And you know what? And I think of the quote that you said earlier, like, don't be a bitch, like just do it. Yeah. Like you can put on some shoes, you can go outside, you can run down the street, boom, you did it. So my biggest thing is like telling people, you can do it. Just, change your mentality a little bit. Like, let's not be negative. You only live once. Like, do something crazy. Go for a mile run. It can be a little crazy to some people. So, yeah, I just want to tell people that they can do it.
And I love the fact that you mentioned about keeping it real. Sometimes I think in social media, and I guess we didn't get to talk about that, but social media, we're so afraid of being real, right? Because we're affected what other people are doing. Even if you don't want to, sometimes it has like an impact on you. Sometimes you're looking at social media and you feel depressed. I don't know if that happens to you. It brings you down and you're like, why am I feeling like this? So I think it's very important to be able to stay real. I think one day I was putting, today I didn't feel good with my run, and I deleted that post. I'm like, because we're afraid sometimes of sharing, like we feel we're not okay, or maybe I feel weak today, like so. But yeah, it's very important to keep it real, and everybody's trying their best. Sometimes your best that day was just getting out of the door. Yes.
Yeah, and I think like one last thing too is to like get out of the spirit of comparison.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Yeah, I think because people are always like they want to go run with me, but they're like, oh, I can't keep up with you. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. And I'm like, I have all types of runs. I have long runs, I have speed runs, I have chill runs, I have runs where I run, walk. Like, I don't care. And I always tell people, like, once you change your mindset of comparison, because we're all different, we all have our different goals. We all have things going on that people don't see. Like, I would never look at you and think that you're dealing with so many, like health issues, because you look amazing. So, and I think that actually that'll be my biggest thing. I'll tell people, like, get out of that spirit of comparison, put on some shoes and go outside and just do it. Join some groups, like, meet your people.
I love that.
Yeah, for me, I will tell all the moms, like, for example, yesterday, my daughter had piano. So I was like, where she's in the class, I'm going to go running. So just take advantage of the time you have. Like, I know soccer moms, they're there for 1 hour, waiting for their kids. Instead of waiting, sitting, go for a run, go for a walk. So usually sometimes during my lunch, I go for my runs. Or if I don't wake up in the morning, I was like, okay, today I'm going to eat my lunch early so I can go to the track or I can go run. For me, it's just taking advantage of those little times, because we have so much. I work 40 hours too. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, all of the activities. So I usually just take the time when my daughter has something, I drop her, I go for a run, I go for this. So just take the time, like when you think, I don't have time, my schedule is like, it's so tight, just do it. Like, just do it. Like, don't be scared. Instead of sitting on the couch or instead of sitting watching your son on soccer, for one day, just go on a run and walk and just do it. But yeah, take the advantage whenever you have a little time just to do it and go out.
Yeah.
Another cheat, have your workout clothes ready.
Bag in my car. I keep running shoes in my car.
If it's
everything.
not ready,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
Yeah, I usually fold it like next to my bed. So at time, like when I'm waking up and I'm like tired, you're like dressing up and kind of like put it. And when you're done, I'm like, oh, might as well, like I'm good to go. So let's go. All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies. Crystal, Paulina, for being with me today, sharing a little piece, just a tiny little fraction of who you are. All of you are amazing women. Thank you for sharing that, for being open, for being honest of that. I think they're like wonderful people out there. So many stories to share, but I think in reality, I hope that you have seen that all of us are vulnerable. All of us can have our moments of weakness. All of us maybe dealing with some health issues, sometimes like things in our work, sometimes in our family, right? We never know what's really behind the heart of a person out there. But what is true for sure, and I hope you got that from this show today, is that you can accomplish anything in your life. I mean, it's about developing that mentality and putting yourself out there and doing it. Don't be afraid to try something new, to challenge yourself. Your body can accomplish so much, and just gonna follow whatever it's in your mind. So I know all of you are amazing role models, and I hope that I have like 3 friends right here, and I hope I can see you continue to grow, and we continue to push each other and to achieve those amazing goals in the running world. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Thank you all.